The allure of starting our own business is strong, but starting a business can be daunting, sometimes even terrifying, especially considering that most businesses fail. Let me give you some statistics. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 20% of small businesses actually fail within the first year. 50% of them fail within 5 years, and 66% of them fail within 10 years. But despite all that, some industries out there, they defy odds and they boast remarkable high success rates when it comes to businesses. So this is why understanding the success rate of different industries can actually help us to make more informed decisions and as such increase our chances of success. So all that said, here are 7 businesses that have a very low failure rate and in some cases have the potential to make as much as $7,000 a month or more based on other beginners who have launched these businesses and built them over time. And remember, I'm not here to guarantee that you're going to make $7,000 a month. That's not what this video is about. After all, it's for educational purposes only. But based on the businesses that I'm about to share and looking at case studies of people who have launched similar businesses, $7,000 a month or more is definitely possible. And listen, this is not just a list of businesses that I pulled out of a hat. Absolutely not. It's gonna be backed by data, as I'm gonna share, and this is from reputable sources.
Hey, it's so dead, I'm gonna show you the way. From rags to riches, we gonna slay. Mindset shift, turn the page today. From average life can.
Now you're watching the Rockstar Academy here on YouTube, and I would like to welcome you, especially if you are a newcomer or a first timer, but also if you're a tenured rock star, especially one of the ones who have been here from day one. I just want to let you know that I'm extremely grateful for your support. Now, my first business venture was actually a success, but I had many failed business ventures since. But what having success with the first venture did for me was it gave me the confidence to launch several other businesses, even though, like I said, several of them failed. What you're gonna realize is that your first business venture, it's gonna set the tone for your entrepreneurial journey. And because of that, unfortunately, if it fails, that disappointment can actually discourage you from taking future risks. So that's why I'm sharing businesses that have a high propensity to succeed. Because by choosing a business with a high success rate, you actually increase your chances of experiencing that crucial first win. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna boost your confidence and motivate you to keep going. So let's start with the first business. And like I said, these are all in different industries. So this one may not be for you, but I'm certain that there is something on this list that you're gonna find appealing. Now, the first one is the rental property business. And just to give you some statistics, like I alluded to earlier, that I'll be sharing to back up these businesses with facts and not fiction or hypotheticals, 90% of millionaires got their wealth by investing in real estate. Rental property businesses have an 85.3% success rate based on the statistics out there. And the great news is there is a myth out there where people think that they must procure and own property to make money from real estate investment, and that's not the case. So make sure you stay tuned to get some ideas on how you can earn from real estate without procuring and owning property. And again, statistics actually show that more money has been made in real estate over the history of the United States than all other industrial investments combined. Real estate creates monthly cash flow, with most expenses, things like utilities and mortgages, being fixed, which means it makes it predictable, which is extremely good for business. The asset also typically appreciates in value over time if you own it, so that becomes an advantage. And what this does, it creates long-term capital gains while you're receiving cash flow on a regular basis. And of course, this is contingent on the type of real estate investment. Now, to start a rental property business without owning property, you can use what's referred to as rental arbitrage. And let me give you an example. So we're in the process process of buying a condominium. Let's say that condominium costs about $450,000 and the plan is to rent it short term, whether on Airbnb or other short term rental sites, for about $350 per night. Assuming that it rents for 20 nights out of the 30 in a month, that's about $7,000 in rental income, of course, before expenses per month. Now, let's say we bought the condominium with a loan and the mortgage is $3,000 plus whatever utilities and expenses that you have. Let's say your utilities and expenses amount to $1,000. So your mortgage plus your utilities equates to $4,000 per month. When you deduct that from your rental income of $7,000, your profit per month is $3,000. And this is assuming you use a mortgage to procure this property. Let me give you an example of how you can make money from real estate without owning real estate using rental arbitrage. Let's say I procure this condo and I'm using it for long-term rental and I'm charging about $3,000 per month. And you decide to rent this condominium from me, the owner, for this $3,000 per month. Again, if you rent it short term under the same terms that I explained earlier, your income is $7,000, which means you'd be making a profit of $4,000 per month after you pay me my mortgage. And then let's say you take out $1,000 in expenses, that's a profit of $3,000. Remember, you don't earn the property. You're basically renting it from me and I'm giving you permission to rent it short term, and you're doing so and making this profit without owning the property. That, in essence, is rental arbitrage. Now, the good thing about if you're able to own the property is that in most markets, the property is going to appreciate in value. So your $450,000 that you buy it for, forecasted over 10 years in a market like Jamaica, could mean that it's now valued at $600,000. And I'm speaking based on my experience with this property that I'm sitting in, which when I bought it, I think it was close to $500,000. And 10 years later, it's valued at over $2.5 million US. So that just speaks to how your asset will continue to appreciate in value while you're earning money every month and getting that cash flow, which is what makes this one of the businesses that very rarely fails. So basically, you'll be able to earn in two ways: rental income and capital gains as the value of your property increases. Now, frankly speaking, there are not many assets out there that pay you in two different ways and pay you well in those two ways. Now, that said, in real estate, you're less likely to lose money because the property will appreciate in value and it's also going to protect your investment. You can also hire property managers to turn a real estate business into a cash flowing asset that doesn't require your time, and because of that, you'd be making passive income. And just to give you some projections, the real estate industry is expected to increase in market value from $113 trillion, and this was in 2023, to $142 trillion in 2028, or by 2028. Now let's talk about the second business that actually has a 94.8% success rate over a 5-year period, and it's a laundromat. The failure rate is actually low because most laundromats, they don't require employees, or they may require 1 to maybe 3 employees at most. They actually have an average cash on cash ROI, or return on investment, of up to 35%. Not many businesses are able to do that. Upfront payment is also what you get for the service because people will come in, they'll pay to get their clothing washed, ironed, and everything in advance, and then they come back and collect it. Nothing beats upfront payment in a business versus when you offer the service or when you credit the service and get paid subsequently. It also requires very minimum inventory in some cases, and they are cash flowing businesses because most laundromats are open 24 hours a day. It's also a recession proof kind of business because people always need to wash their clothes regardless of the economy economy that we're in. Laundromats are also not impacted by seasonality, and you're able to make money while you sleep if you have a small staff contingent operating that laundromat on your behalf. One of the things a lot of people don't realize about laundromats is that they're not as expensive to own as most people think. Also, unlike other brick and mortar businesses like clothing stores that may face challenges from e-commerce competition, laundromats, they have no such problem. Laundromats can be financially rewarding if the basics such as the location, the machinery, the marketing, and the maintenance are done right. The estimated revenue for this sector is US $15.35 billion as of 2023, and it's expected to grow as per the compound annual growth rate, or the CAGR, by 2.5% between 2023 and 2028. So it's not going anywhere. Now, the next business that has a very high chance of success or a low failure rate is a self-storage business. And I'm seeing this a lot more now in Jamaica. It's always been popular across the globe, but I didn't think that in Jamaica people would actually be renting storage to stack their excess stuff in or to hoard in some cases. The self-storage business, it has a success rate of 92% for most owners and operators. And a self-storage business is basically a facility that rents out storage space, whether to individuals or businesses, on a short-term basis. And it's usually a month-to-month situation where the person rents it for a month and then somebody else is renting it for another month. Self-storage businesses, they have a relatively low startup cost compared to other real estate endeavors. And that's because building a small to mid-sized facility with multiple units from the ground up, based on some of the research I've done, will cost anywhere from, if you're using containers to do it, as little as $50,000 to as much as $500,000 in some places. Also, I find that it's extremely easy to secure funding for a self-storage business, and this is due to its high success rates. And because of that, lenders consider self-storage businesses and the loans associated with them very low risk. Now, with modern technology, these businesses now can be operated with absolutely no employees like the ones I see popping up in Jamaica. They basically have a software and it's managed automatically. The contracts are done online. The billing system is automatic. It has security cameras and alarms, and someone can just go there, open it, take out what they want, and leave. It doesn't need any employees for it to function effectively. More than 1 in every 10 US households actually rent a self-storage unit, believe it or not. The self-storage sector, with a market cap of $39 billion US dollars, and this was from 2021, and a national average occupancy of 92%, which means that of all the units that you have, or if you have just one unit, 92% of the time it's occupied. It's expected to have grown to close to $50 billion by 2026. Now, the next business on our list is a cleaning business. And this is one that you can start pretty small. You can start with a house cleaning service, which is a very low risk business opportunity that demand is constantly increasing for. The demand is on the rise due to factors like increased remote work, busy lifestyles, and a growing elderly population who actually need a lot more assistance with household chores. If you have a knack for cleaning and organizing, this may be the ideal business for you. And starting a cleaning business doesn't require a large investment either. You mainly need cleaning supplies, you're gonna need transportation, and potentially some marketing materials, unless you're able to find people who can refer your services after they have used it and leverage that effectively. Cleaning services often involve repeat customers who schedule regular cleanings, which is gonna provide you with a steady stream of income. The business model is also very straightforward, making it very easy to understand, beginner friendly, and easy to manage, even as a first-time entrepreneur. It is estimated that nearly 10% of U.S. households actually hire home cleaning services, and the cleaning industry has a market value of over $170 billion. The market value, however, is expected to surpass $276 billion by 2028, and the failure rate is estimated at about 50% for cleaning businesses within the first 5 years. So this is still significantly lower than the average failure rate for all businesses out there, which is around 66% within a 10-year period. Now, a vending business is the next one, and this is one that you can start small and grow as you gain experience. You can start with one vending machine as an example, and you can sell anything from snacks to drinks to electronics to personal items like sanitary napkins and over-the-counter medication, which actually does much better than I thought. The nice thing is you can actually rent vending machines or buy affordable used vending machines that require very minimal upkeep. You then will need to choose a location, choose your product, and then grow at a pace that you can handle. You'll be able to earn money 24/7 with minimal ongoing effort because obviously it operates on its own and it's selling around the clock. It has an extremely high success rate of approximately 82%, and the vending machine industry has an estimated market value of over $60 billion. And here's the best part. It's projected to grow to $150 billion or more in the next year or so. It's a low-risk investment with high returns, and usually you're able to recoup your investment in about 12 to 18 months. Anything with that kind of ROI is pretty good if you ask me. Now, the next business that has a very low failure rate is senior care centers, and this is of course in the healthcare industry. Federal, state, and city government subsidies make senior care facilities a high success rate business model, as nothing or no one pays more consistently than the government. Senior housing is one of those businesses that will always be in demand, and the need for new senior care facilities is about to increase within the next few decades. Here's why. The number of Americans age 65 and above is expected to nearly double by 2060, an increase from 52 million to 95 million. This is going to mean that seniors will make up 23% of the American population. It's kind of scary if you ask me, especially considering the low birth rate that the entire globe is experiencing. These numbers, they're going to influence the need for senior housing, and the demand is expected to rise from 1.5 million units to about 3.2 million units by 2040. This means that to catch up with the demand, 100,000 units per year for the next 15 to 17 years is required. The other good thing about this business model is it also appears to be recession resistant from an investment perspective and protecting your investment. And this is because during economic decline, most people downsize their homes, and what they often do is relocate to senior housing for more convenient and affordable living conditions. Now, the last business model that tends to do very well is kids special needs care. Approximately 1 in 6 children born in the United States have one or more developmental disability or other developmental delays. The global autism spectrum disorder market, as an example, is projected to reach $9.5 billion by 2027. The market for special education software is expected to grow by 12.5% from 2021 to 2028. The demand for special needs care is increasing due to the increasing or the rising awareness of diagnosis rates of developmental disabilities. And because of that, government funding and subsidies are often available for special needs care centers, and that way it provides financial stability for those who are willing to invest in this type of a business. A special need care center will provide essential services to children and their families, which also allows you to make a positive impact on the communities. These centers can offer a wide range of services to include therapy, education, and respite care and catering service to diversify needs. Now, I must point out that starting a special needs care center will require specialized knowledge. It will require specialized licensing, like some of the other businesses that I've shared here. But this one will also require a strict adherence to specific regulations. But here's the thing, despite that, the potential for both financial and social reward because you're doing something good is amazing, and I think it's worth it. But you're gonna have to decide that, rock stars. I hope you got value from this video, and until next time, walk good.